Thanks for downloading another episode of The Uglee Truth. Or if it's your first time, welcome. You are now an honorary Ugg, or Hug as we like to say. We really appreciate you listening and supporting the show through our Amazon and Avon links at uglytruth.com. And now, without further ado, The Uglee Truth. It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
At some point, I will make myself a fool.
Paula?
Are you gonna have a baby? Your stomach's around.
Uncensored as always, it's time for The Uglee Truth.
It's The Uglee Truth, episode 221. Ugh. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for downloading. And please share the show with your friends. Let them know that you listen. That would be awesome. Although we had a pretty good month, I thought. Have you looked at the numbers?
I did. It's better than the last 2 months, so that's good.
Yeah, I think Daryl said it was one of our top three download months of the year, is what he said.
Oh, that's terrible.
Why?
Because compared to some of the months we had last year.
I know. Well, first of all, we don't market the show. We don't put any money into marketing, which is really pathetic considering that Daryl and I literally do that for a living, where we help people market their products. And so we don't.
Well, isn't that what they say? Like doctors are like,
yes.
they smoke and
yes.
They drink and all that stuff. So.
Right. It's like, just think about it. When our dad was a mechanic, he owned a very successful auto shop, and we all had broken cars.
We always had broken cars.
It always needed repair. It's the same. It's like the last thing I want to do is work on your car. So it's the same theory. Although Daryl and I did have a discussion, and we said, the summer months for podcasting is very low. Nobody does well in the summer because everyone's on vacation. Everybody's, doing other things. They're not sitting down and listening to 3 to 5 hours of podcasts.
Unless
they're listening
it's too freaking hot, and then you just want to sit inside and do that. I don't know.
Well, then you're usually Netflixing or something. But anyway, what we were talking about is that we need to come up with with an actual marketing plan for the fall. And decide on a budget and, actually, because when we market, we have huge numbers. So it's just a matter of, the product is really cool. It's great. And people never, we don't lose listeners if we market. So we're really doing ourselves a disservice by not. So, Daryl is going to work on something that might actually give us the little boost that we're looking for.
Hey, there we go. That'll make me happy.
Exactly.
Because I look at our number and I'm like, boo.
I know. It's like, wah, wah, wah. I know.
Actually, they're always at a certain level. So it's just, there's certain ones that are worse than others. And the month that was really bad, it was the first month that people were out of school. And so
they were all on vacation. Disneyland.
Everybody was going somewhere, doing something.
Camping.
That's when they were all excited and they didn't care that it was hot. Now everyone's just like, it's hot and I want you to go back to school.
Yeah, it's Hades out there right now, at least in California.
Oh, God.
I know. It's so flippin' hot. It was 103 yesterday, and I think today it's supposed to be 106. But then by Friday, it's supposed to start cooling out. It's only going to be 101. So that's good.
Oh, well, how exciting.
Yeah, and it's a dry heat.
I know.
Dry heat.
I know. I actually get like a little sweat on my brow when I go outside sometimes.
My God.
I do things. Like I told you, Olivia, she's just like, Mom, she's like, have you seen this stuffed animal? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And she's like, can we go in the garage and look through my boxes to see if maybe they're still in there? And so we had to go in the garage, like, it was like 3:00 in the afternoon, of course.
So it's high noon of the day. The sun is like a giant fried egg.
And I'm like, I was bending over and it was like, I got a little sweat line in my stomach. And
You're just like, what's going on?
And I'm like, you're not making me feel very good about myself.
This is unacceptable.
This is not a good time, and I am diligently on a diet right now.
Because of your reunion coming up.
Yeah, which we'll talk about.
We'll talk about next week. Yeah,
next couple episodes. And
I can't wait.
I'm really working hard to lose some weight right now.
Well, you're naturally thin. So it's not like, you're a blob at all, but everybody has their goal weights. Everybody has their goal body figure look that they want when they go to a big event. That's important. That everybody, and the thing with reunions is everyone's eyeing everybody from up and down. They want to know what kind of clothes you're wearing. Are they expensive? Are you thin? Did you get fat? Did you lose your hair? All kinds of things.
I know.
It's like, oh, look at Jody got a boob job, stuff like that. So,
and I mean, I've seen we'll talk about it next week. So
okay,
anyways,
next week.
Next.
Okay, so today we're recording on a little earlier in the week because producer Dub and I are going away for the weekend, which we usually record later in the week so we have more stuff to talk about. Because I just saw you like 3 days ago, so it's kind of weird, but we can always find something to discuss.
Of course.
So Dub and I are going away for the weekend because today is our actual wedding anniversary.
Wow, happy anniversary. How many years?
20.
20 years? Yeah. Oh, that would make sense then.
Why?
Well, because I got married. What am I saying? I graduated high school the same year that you guys got married.
Oh my God, that makes me feel so old.
Because
I'm a freaking relic.
This year's my 20-year reunion.
People are doing the math right now, trying to figure out how old we all are. I'm in my 40s, okay?
And
God.
I'm still in my 30s, hanging on by a hair.
You're clinging to the thread of 30s. So yes, it's 20 years. Now, we did get married young. So that is true. We didn't get married like they do now where people, like we talked about this before, but back in our day, when I was in my 20s, we were considered really super young to be getting married. Most people got married in their 30s and had their first baby at like 35. The trend has changed again. But back then, everybody's like, God, they're so young. They're barely out of college,
Well, yeah.
I was thinking about 20 years as a wedge of time. And in 20 years, when you're only 20 years old, you've done nothing with yourself. Like, you're still an infant, essentially, in this world. You can't even gamble. You can't drink. You can't do anything. I mean, you can vote and you can join the military, but that's it. You haven't even finished college or gotten your first real career, usually, by 20.
Right.
So it's like, it's really not that much time when you think about it. But then you think 20 years at a job is a long time in this day and age, especially the way the world is.
Yeah, because he was working for the company that he works for now, right?
No. He's only been with iHeart for like 6 or 7 years, which is a long time.
But he's been in media the whole time.
He's been in radio for 30 years because he started right out of high school.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but in different capacities, obviously. But 20 years in a business, in a job, or even one single company with a job, 20 years is a long time. You usually have seniority, you have the corner office, people look up to you, everything there is to know. Hopefully you're making decent money. But then you think 20 years of marriage and you think, okay, definitely had our rough patches. Yeah. Definitely had some smooth patches, babies. And then if you start calculating the amount of shit you've been through in 20 years, think about the amount of crap you've been through in just 8 years or 7 years. It's a lot. So it's pretty cool in the way the world is now. 20 years is a pretty great start, is the way I look at it. I would love to say that, I doubt we'll be doing the podcast in 40 years, but just say, 60 years of marriage. Nobody says that anymore unless they're like 90 now, you know? So it'll be interesting, 20 years it's so funny that it feels like a long time, but like the other day we went out to dinner and our waitress asked if we were going home because I of course did not finish my meal, and so she bagged it up and he didn't finish his dessert. So she's like, yeah, I can bag all that stuff up for you. And she's like, so should I put them in separate bags, or are you guys going home are you guys going to the same place? Like, she thought we were on a date. And I was like, what? And of course Daryl is just like, he's practically offended. Like, what do you mean? We are married, And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Wife. And I turned to him, I go, I don't know, are we going to the same place tonight? And the lady is like, and he goes, well, we're married. And I said, but are we married to the same people? And the waitress is getting uncomfortable. She's like, I thought you were on a date. I go, well, we are, but not, not that kind of
You guys have to make it weird.
Well, of course I do. I'm like, well, we're not married to the same people, so I don't know. Are we going to the same place tonight?
Are you guys going to be those people where, when someone dies, you're going to find out that you had a separate apartment somewhere, like across town?
Right? It's going to be me. He'd be like, I had no idea.
It's going to be like decorated all like,
different
pink and plush, and it's going to have like a turntable, and you listen to all these, 70s rock records.
This whole other life that she had, I had no idea.
Crystal Gale. And
Don't it make my brown eyes blue? Ooh. Did I tell you that I made him listen to all that stuff on the way to the game?
Did.
I don't know what happened. Well, you know how weird we are.
I know.
I don't mean him, me and you.
I went
and
through
Stephanie
a phase the other night where I was just listening to everything on iTunes. But I try not to play everything. Like, I start playing DJ, and I'm just like, sorry, everyone. You're going to be listening to what I'm listening to tonight.
This is the way it's going down. No, we were on our way to the Giants game. It was Sunday, a couple weeks ago. And we were on our way, and I don't know. Oh, Daryl is the ultimate dad joke dad. Like, he does the dad jokes all the time. It's horrible, but I think it's just one of those things. I don't know why that happens. Like, I don't know when men turn into the dad joke dad, but they all do at some point. And he's just the worst when it comes to dad jokes. So we're driving, and somebody passes us, and the license plate's Montana.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, Montana. And now the girls for years have been compiling a list of all of the state license plates, and they're down to like the last 2 or 3, and they're impossible to find. And so whenever we see one, he always says, I wonder if they have that one.
Yeah.
Even if they're not in the car with us. They have to be in the car to witness it. It doesn't count otherwise, but he always says that. And I'm like, yeah, they have Montana. They got Montana like 2 years ago.
Right.
So because he does that stupid shit, this is the kind of stupid shit I do. It's really quiet in the car, and all of a sudden I go, won't you meet me in Montana?
Oh, so you'll start singing the songs.
And he goes, what's that? I go, it's Marie Osmond and Dan Seals from like 1984.
You know what?
Like, what?
I think I do stuff like that.
I do it all the time. And he goes, really? And so this is what he does. He finds it. And suddenly the car is full of Marie Osmond and Dan Seals. Oh my God. I want to see the mountains in your eyes. Whoa, whoa. And then I know every single verse of that song. I don't even know why. Like, I don't even know why I would know that song, but I'm singing it, and pretty soon it's at the top of my lungs. Swear to God, I'm thinking of you.
Of course.
Because I know you know it.
Of course.
And so then suddenly it's Barbara Mandrell, Crystal Gale, Juice Newton is on the radio. I mean, we are knee deep in 80s soft country women, like all the way. God. Unbelievable.
God,
it was fun
funny.
though.
I do more cities. So like, when I was driving across the country to our dad's house, like when I was in my early 20s.
Yes.
Every time we would drive through, and I'm like, hey, look, I'm all, what a little rock.
Little rock.
And,
oh my God, I remember that.
And there it was Memphis. I'm like, maybe it was Memphis. Maybe it was
Oh God.
And they were always
Pantillis.
They always were comfort or country music songs.
Well, it was funny. I was trying to explain to him. I said, I know that most mothers our generation's age listened to Air Supply, Bertie Higgins.
They had to.
Boss Gags. I mean, that
REO
was just
Speedwagon.
Sticks, all that stuff. But for some reason, there was a generation of divorced mothers who listened to the female country artists, Lori Morgan, Barbara Mandrell, Crystal Gale, Juice Newton. All of those, huge, very popular in the early to mid 80s. And you know what I'm talking about. If your mom was divorced or single with kids, that was the shit she was listening to. Urban Cowboy was huge. And then suddenly came all these glamour shot album covered women from the country who sang all the songs that you understood. I'm looking for something in red. That's it.
That's true. The sweetest thing I've ever known is loving you. And
Dolly Parton, even. That's classic.
That's
stuff.
true. I forgot about Dolly Parton.
God. Anyway, so I made
and her giant boobs on her albums.
Oh my God. Here you come again. But I love Dolly Parton.
She sings so good, though.
She's good, period. There's nothing that woman can't do. I love her.
I know.
But anyway, so so Daryl and I are going to Napa for 4 days. Three and a half. We're leaving on Friday. And of course, we're like, we talked about it in a previous show when Daryl sat in for you when you were moving. But when we're going, so we've been planning this 4-day trip for a year. So when we started paying for it, we're like, okay, we go to Napa fairly regularly, but it's like a 1-day trip. It's like a 6-hour visit. And then we go home because we're very fortunate to live so close. But we've never stayed for multiple nights in a row. It's expensive. It's really not cheap. We're going 5-star first class all the way VIP. Everything.
Wow.
Everything. And so we're staying at a really nice resort for 3 nights. We're going to some of the world's finest restaurants, at least one a day. And then on Monday, we're going hot air ballooning, which is an iconic thing to do in Napa Valley. Now,
that's where you lose me.
I know. What's funny is that's where I lose everyone. When I tell people what we're doing, they go, take some pictures, because I would never do that. I want to know what it looks like from where you're standing if you make it. And everybody's like, are your wills in place? I mean, they're literally asking us, if you die, will everybody know how to take care of business? That's the general reaction.
I mean, that's what they do in movies, you know? Like, it's not for real people.
Well, I guess we're going to find out. We're going to find out how real it is.
You're not afraid of heights?
No. I'm not, actually. I'm not afraid of heights at all.
You're just afraid of flying. Okay.
My fear of flying in a plane, it has nothing to do with the height. It has to do with the fact I have zero control. If the pilot dies, we're dying. I have no choice. I think I stand a chance in a hot air balloon.
That reminds me, in A Few Good Men, Tom Cruise is talking to like his second-hand prosecutor, and he's just like, maybe you should try Dramamine. He's like, what? He's all, Dramamine, it helps you with flying. He's all, does it help me with my fear of crashing and dying? He's like, no, that's not going to help you.
No, that's my thing, is the crashing.
Yeah,
I hate it. So true. Well, hopefully the hot air balloon ride will not go like any of that.
I don't think your hot air balloon
Hopefully it will be peaceful. But actually, the biggest problem I have with doing this hot air balloon thing is that we have to be at the place at 5:30 in the morning.
That's ridiculous.
I know. And I said, why?
There's nothing fun about that.
I said, that's like painful. Why? But that means I've got to get up at like 4:30 in the morning, because we have to be there at 5:30, and it's like 15 minutes away from the place we're staying. So I'm like, well, what exactly? Why? And I told my friend, he goes, what? They don't have hot air at 9 a.m.? I'm like, I know, right?
Yeah.
I go, that's even early, but I mean, that's a little more marginal. But no, the air is the most still apparently right before the sun rises, and so that way there's no issue with wind flinging us about in the atmosphere. So
yeah, well then I will be there at 5:30.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be there, which I assume means that we'll see some amazing sunrises, and we're going over vineyards and all that stuff. So I'm sure it'll be beautiful. I'm really
so that means you have to look down. I'm
not afraid of heights like that, though. I'm really not. And it's not like we're going to be up where the planes are. It's not that high. So
how high up do you go? Does it say?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. But I'm sure it's, helicopter heights.
Ugh.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always wanted to do it. I asked, this was a few years ago. I said, hey guys, the family, I said, let's all go on a hot air balloon. All of them rejected. They're like, hell no, I'm not going on a balloon. I'm like, why? It'll be so great. No. So I don't even think Daryl is like thinking I don't think he would ever think to do this, but because I want to do it, he's like, well, I'll try it. And I'm like, okay, so we're going.
So we're doing
it.
He's doing it for your sake.
He's doing it because I want to do it, and it's our anniversary weekend. So that's the thing.
That's cute.
It'll be fun. I mean, okay, and he's just absolutely, like, he's out of control today, Paula. I can't take it. It's
Jamie,
like,
he's so excited because he just is thinking about the amount of sex you guys are going to be having.
Oh my God, I'm sure. But it's like, today's the actual day. So he wakes up and he sits on top of me and he's like, happy anniversary. And I'm like, it's like Christmas for him. It's so ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous. I shouldn't downplay that. I should be happy that someone's happy to be married to me. That's a weird thing for me.
Well, I mean, I think it would be hard to get into it because it's Wednesday. So,
and there's so much going on. I mean, my God. But no, he's really excited. And so I'm like, I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for him that he's happy. I feel weird being that romantic-y. Like, I feel uncomfortable doing that. But he doesn't. And he wears it with pride. Like, he has no pride. He don't care. He's so excited. So I'm happy for him that he's happy about it. I mean, I'm happy that we've made it to 20 and that we're doing great, but it's just the whole romantic heart. His pupils are like hearts right now. Like, he's so into it that he's doing that. I don't want to sound like I'm not appreciative or that I'm not happy either. It's just that he's so into it. I don't relate though. It's so strange. Like, he's like, okay, hold on. And he comes over to give me a kiss. I go, are you going to be like this all day? He's like, yes, I am. I'm like, okay, I just want to know. I just want to know how to handle it because it's a lot. For me, it's a lot. I sound horrible. Don't I sound like an awful dead inside person? I don't mean to.
No, you're just different. He's very, in that love language thing, he's a physical touch person.
Yes.
So that's just how he expresses his love. And did you get your flowers or anything?
Not yet.
So
I hope I do. If I don't, I'll be shocked.
You'll get your flowers and your tangible gift thing.
I better get that piece of jewelry that I've been eyeing.
Well, I'm sure you should be getting something big, for
I don't know. We'll see.
The 20 years. So
yeah, well, I've earned an upgrade of some kind, that's for sure.
So. I imagine you'll be getting something today.
Yes, I would imagine. We're going to dinner tonight. We're going to go to a dinner just because he felt we should do something on the actual day.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of like, the birthday that never ends. This is kind of the anniversary that's going to...
I know. Isn't that how it is?
Yeah, but you know what?
It goes in stages.
Yes, it does. Now, one of the reasons why I think I'm a little, I mean, I'm always, I'm very grateful for the accomplishment. We worked really hard to get to this number. And hopefully this is just the beginning of a very long, relationship, barring any, major issues like death. But I was going to tell you, after 20 years, you know someone pretty well. And I do. We really know each other really well. But he told me something the other day, and I shockingly did not know this about him, which never happens.
Really?
You know how much I talk about death.
Yeah.
And how we talk about, it's not, I think, because all of us do it in our family. I feel like we do it because we've been so privileged not to have to experience any significant loss in our immediate family. I mean, we've lost grandparents, but our parents are both still alive. We're very fortunate that all of our sisters were all together, healthy, alive. Our children, we have not experienced that profound loss.
No,
so I feel like we're always mentally preparing for the inevitable. And so we joke about it and we laugh about it a lot. But I also think we're somehow psychologically preparing ourselves. So I talk about it, not often, but enough that Terrell goes, he's superstitious about talking about death too much.
Really?
Like if I mention it too much, he feels like it's some kind of premonition or like that means that something's going to happen. And he gets really uncomfortable. I had no idea. And I'm like, well, you married the wrong person. I mean, I don't talk about it daily, but when I mention it, I'm always looking for a way to discuss it, to process. And he really struggles with, he didn't say, look, I don't want you to talk about death anymore, but he does get superstitious. He almost did the cross thing when we were talking about it. He's like, premonition. He goes, I don't know, I'm a little superstitious. And he did like the Catholic cross thing. And I'm like, who are you? This is new. But I think it was just one of those things. I did not know that. It was so crazy weird.
Wow.
Really
and you're
weird.
always like the one on Facebook who like is the first to announce when someone dies.
I know. And you know what's funny is that on Facebook, I follow this caretaker. He's an undertaker. He owns his own, it's a family-run funeral parlor in Pennsylvania. And it's Confessions of a Funeral Director. And he's just in the family business. It's been this way. It's kind of like that movie, My Girl. You know, they don't live in the place, but or like 6 Feet Under. It's kind of the same thing. It's a family business. I find it really interesting. And I don't know if it's because of my belief on death or whatever, but I follow him, and so he's coming out with a book, and I'm really looking forward to it. But so because of that one thing that I follow on Facebook, I get crap tons of articles from all over flagging, you know, my husband died and this is how I'm surviving it kind of articles. And I'm like, God, I got another damn article about a widow. And he's like, that's because you read about death all the time, Jamie. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do something else. Hey Hugs, let's talk Avon. Yes, Avon. We at The Ugly Truth are happy to endorse their products because we use them and we love them. Check out our site for yourself. You'll always find free shipping on purchases of $40 or more. All you have to do is go to the Ugly Truth website, click on the Avon link, and you will be in the Ugly Truth Avon shop. I know you'll find something that you just can't live without. So check it out now. Thank you so much for supporting The Ugly Truth. So Monday, I came home from, I don't know, the grocery store probably, and Kenzie she had run out and then came back with her boyfriend. And we were in the kitchen, I was making dinner, and she had a weird look on her face. I go, what's going on with you? Did Dad have you run an errand for our anniversary or something? Because that's usually what it is. No, Mom, nothing. I'm like, well, something's going on with you. What is it? And, you know, of course, the top 3 things are always she's pregnant.
Oh, God.
You know, she's getting married. I mean, God only knows. She's almost 22. So any of those things are possible at this point, given my history with children at this point. She and her boyfriend have decided that they're moving in together. They're moving out into an apartment, and they're going to live together.
Oh. How long have they known each other?
About 7 months.
That's not very long.
No, it isn't. And so, of course, because I have no tact whatsoever, and it's like trying to, you know, it's your kid. And so, you know, the first thing in my brain is, okay, look, she's almost 22. She can do whatever she wants. It's not like she's not allowed, you know. But the hard and fast rule in the house is this. I personally want you to live with me until you get married or die. I want you here. I love having the kids here. Our house is insanely crazy and loud all the time, but I don't mind it. And the rule, though, is you can't have overnight guests of the opposite sex, or, you know, your boyfriend or girlfriend cannot spend the night.
Right.
No questions. Don't even ask. And it becomes difficult after you turn 21 to stick by that rule. And I get it. The reason that's in place is to kind of promote, look, you can choose to be taken care of by your parents and have everything that you need taken care of here. You just can't have sex in my house and they can't spend the night. Or you can move out and do it on your own. Well, that's what happens. They all move out when they can't take it anymore. So we've hit that threshold with this couple and with this kid, and they're finding an apartment. And I said, all right, well, you know, you're almost 22. You can do whatever you want. I said, so what happens when you guys break up? Like, where does the apartment go? Because a lease doesn't end when you guys decide to stop being together. Because realistically, you've only been together 6 months and you never know. And I'm not saying it's not going to work out, but let's be real. And they were taken aback and like, well, we're never going to. I'm like, oh, right. You're the exception to the rule. I forgot. That's not going to happen. Okay. So anyway, Daryl is not doing well. Like, he's really struggling.
I don't blame him.
He does not want her to move out. Like, he's just not having it. So it's a lot. And it's only Wednesday. So I'm just not prepared. You know, this is the problem with having kids really young, is that they leave when you're still kind of young and you're like, what are you doing? Where are you going? But that's kind of the way it works.
Does this kid have a job?
He's a fireman. He's doing fine. He's just fine. No, it's not about money. You know, and the thing, and like what I told Daryl, I said, look, I don't know what will happen. I don't know how things will work out. The one thing I do know is that he's absolutely, completely in love with our child. He thinks she's everything. So that's not going to be it. It's just going to be life, or, you know, I can't even say they're too young. I mean, he's 24, she's 22. I mean, it's not like it's not unheard of. It's just that we aren't emotionally prepared to let her go. That's the problem. You know, we don't want her to go. But I told her, I said, but I understand, you know, you're tired of sending your boyfriend home at 11 o'clock. I get it. You know, I really do. It's very restrictive, especially when you're an adult. So this is why this rule's in place.
Right.
So you will, in fact, go and do what you need to do. So our rules work way too well. I don't want her to go. But on the other hand, there are people who can't get rid of their children. You know, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
But it's a bummer. And I said, well, if you want to live in sin, that's up to you. And Kenzie's laughing. And she goes, well, just don't tell Grandma yet. I go, oh, I'm telling her immediately. I'm texting her tomorrow. She goes, why? And I go, because she's going to wonder where you are when you're not here. And she goes, is she going to give me, you know, is she going to be mean about it? I go, no, she's just going to wonder why he can't get the ring on it if he wants the milk for free. And she's like, no. And I said, oh, yes. So
oh, that is a good question.
It is. Well, because she's too young. And I'm cool. I can deal with the living in sin over the we're getting married. Ah! You know, I don't want to do that. I can't. No, I don't want to do that.
Well, especially if she doesn't even have a career.
She's in the middle of school. That's the thing. I said, don't be the girl who stops going to school because you can't make rent. Please don't be that person. So she promises she won't. So welcome to, you know, empty nesters at, you know, in our 40s. That's really early.
Wow.
It's really early to be empty nesters. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks. And we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a couple of months before everything actually, you know, happens. But we're struggling. We're struggling because I don't want her to go.
Yeah.
But that's what kids do. That's the whole point of having them, is you raise them to be, you know, to be self-reliant, and then they go. That's the whole idea. So can't really complain.
So how's Malia taking the news?
You know what? She's fine. You know, she said, she goes, last night she turns to us, she goes, I just want you both to know, because, you know, she's cold as ice. Like, she goes, I want you both to know that I am learning from my siblings, and I will not be abandoning you at 21. And I said, don't eat those words, Malia, because you have no idea what's going to happen in the next decade. So just don't make any promises you're not going to keep.
What college does she plan on going to?
She wants to go to Davis.
Oh, okay.
So likelihood is she'll be here just like everybody else. She'll be here for the first couple of years of college, and then she'll move to, you know, Davis or whatever. I you know, who knows? She's got 2 more years of high school. We're not really worried about it. But speaking of, back to school is coming for both of us in a week.
I know.
Are your kids ready?
No. Well, so here's the thing is my son, his clothes were getting too small, and so I took him shopping. And
good.
When I say his clothes were getting too small, he was outgrown the largest boy's size that you can buy.
Oh, he's transitioning to men's.
And so I'm just like, okay, I'm like, I guess I'll try men's small. But to me, that just seemed ridiculous because...
Well, they have there's a lot of young men's section, which is like juniors for girls.
I mean, I looked, but we went to Old Navy, and there was not like a young men's. It was just men's. And
well, Old Navy men's is basically juniors for men.
Yeah. And so we tried on a couple of smalls in the shorts, and they were too small. Oh, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? And so we tried the mediums, and those fit. And so I'm just like, well, they were a little bit big, but they fit. And I'm just like, well, let's get the mediums, because I don't want you to get shorts that just fit, because
he'll grow out of them in a month.
You're going to be growing out of them by the time, you know, summer's over. So he's officially a men's medium at the age of 11.
At Old Navy.
At Old Navy.
It could be somewhere. Old Navy can tend to run small, so don't bank on that when you run to Macy's or Kohl's or wherever else you go, because you could buy him a men's medium. It'll be like, your father could wear this shirt. It's so big.
Right. Well, and you know, his dad probably could wear some of his shirts, but no, actually, that's a lie. But anyway, so back to school is upon us.
Yes.
We have a school meeting where all the 6th grade parents have to come to the auditorium and listen to basically how 6th grade works.
That sounds horrible.
It works differently. It's not like they just get a teacher and they go to the class. They basically are prepping them for junior high school. So there's 4 6th grade teachers, and so they basically trade off throughout the day between all 4 6th grade teachers.
Yeah, so they have the main room, and then they go for different subjects to different teachers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they want to explain to us how it works. Mm-hmm. Then they basically, you know, have their list of, you know, what kind of supplies they need and all that stuff, which is kind of surprising because usually they don't give you the supply list.
It's not online? They usually have it online.
No, because it's still elementary school, at least.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Not ours. It's not.
No, you're right.
Like
they don't do that in elementary school. It's different. Yeah, or unlike me, where my last child's going to be a junior in high school, and I said, so school starts in less than a week. Do you have any, like, supplies or what? And she goes, I don't know. I'm just going to take a notebook the first day, and you know, we'll figure it out as we go along. I'm like, okay. She goes, but I do need clothes, because she doesn't have PE anymore, because you only need 2 years of PE in high school. And she's completed the 2 years. She's like, I don't know if I want to overhaul my entire wardrobe, but I do know that I'm going to have different shoes, because I no longer have to be concerned about changing out. So now she can actually compile, you know, she can put together an outfit and not have to take it apart in third period and then put it all back together, because she hated it. So she always wore like leggings and you know, tank tops and stuff, because the idea of putting together a well-proportioned wardrobe outfit was repellent to her. I said, well, let's get some let's get like cute little riding boots and, you know, sweaters. And she's like, I'm not doing any of that. I don't want to deal with it. But now she's like, well, I don't want to overhaul everything, but I definitely want to start, you know, putting together these wardrobes. And I'm like, well, do you need a binder? Do you need like do you need pens? Like, what are we talking?
Kids are funny, so
I know. So, but that's the, you know, when you're a veteran of high school, you don't worry about rulers and calculators any longer.
No. So. I know the kids are, every time we go to the store, they're like, can we just at least get like a, you know, a binder and some notepads? And I'm like, no. I'm like,
we don't know what you need.
I'm like, wait until the class list comes out.
Please, because you don't want to buy extra, because then it just takes up space.
Livy's like, this folder, and it's got a kitten on it. And I'm like,
of course it has a kitten. Oh my God. That's the biggest battle, when the teachers go, we only want red and yellow and blue and green, because every color represents a subject. And they're like, well, what about the kitten one? Come on. But what the good teachers do, they go, and one personal folder that they always keep in their backpack for like after school, like send home flyer type crap.
Yeah.
And that's when the kids get to express themselves, when they get to get their, you know, Ren and Stimpy folder, Transformers or whatever. Yeah. How hilarious. Yes. Well, another year coming and going. God, it's just, everything flies so fast. It's like so fast.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try and volunteer this year, but
Why are you going to do that?
I don't know.
Why would you do that?
I say that every year, and then I just end up, you know, they're just like, well, we have every Friday, and then Fridays come around, and I'm like,
you're like, I don't do this. Do you want to grade? Do you feel like grading time tests for an hour?
Do I want to sit there with a group of kids and be like, my mom said that your mom is...
Oh my God. Or they're like, why are you wearing that? It's hot. It's still summer. Why are you wearing
gonna
that?
Have a baby? Your stomach's round.
Oh my God, it is so true. They always do that. They're like, why are you fat?
Like, why are you...
I've never had a kid say that
ugly.
to me.
Just kidding.
But I'd be like...
Well, you know how kids are. And they,
oh God.
And they don't say it like they're innocent. They do it on purpose.
No, they're doing it with their little Grinch face. They know.
Terrible. But right now, what
assholes.
we're waiting for is the biggest thing is the class list. Because it hasn't been posted yet.
See where the friends are.
We drove past once, so maybe we'll drive past again today to see if it's been posted yet.
They don't mail it to you?
The class list?
No, with the teacher assignment, they don't mail that to you?
No, they posted on the
door.
The door of the the office or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have to go over there and look and see who's got what teacher and who, what friends are in what class, and then we'll have to deal with the aftermath of tears because
the anxiety and the tears of my best friend is in Mrs. Smith's class.
Charlotte's not in my class, and
that piece of trash Marianne is in my class.
Yes, and Isabella's still in my class, and
it's like, Isabella, you're trash.
Yes,
that was one of the best things I ever heard come out of her mouth.
You know what she said to me? She was sitting out there with the boys telling stories, but she was highly offended that they were all using the F word.
Oh, well, that's what you get for hanging out with a bunch of old men.
Well,
what were you thinking?
A bunch of drunk old men. And so I told her, I said, well, Olivia, if you didn't like it, then you should have got up and left.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I completely forgot that she was the entertainment for the evening, out there telling her jokes and her stand-up.
Ridiculous.
Oh, that's so funny. That's really fun. Well, apparently, speaking of the UFC night, that was an interesting fight card.
Yes.
Nothing super shocking other than Donald Cerrone getting robbed.
That was a lot outrageous. Of people are talking about that.
Oh,
They're saying that was really kind of a dumb thing.
It was an obvious that he won. I mean, I'm not saying he won every round, but they said that Lawler unanimously won the whole thing.
Judging was pretty off that night.
Yeah. But of course, poor Daniel Cormier got his bell rung hard.
Oh,
and then John Jones regained his title, which I think was expected. I can't imagine that. What Daryl told me, though, he was reading something, and maybe you read it too, but Cormier genuinely believed he was going to win. Like, he truly believed that he was going to beat John Jones. He believed it with every fiber of his being, and that's why he was so shook when he cried when he started to regain reality, because he was really out of it for quite some time.
And so here's the problem I have is that he got knocked out so hard that the doctors really should have just had him leave.
Carted off.
They should have just had him leave the stage. Because what I was reading is that they really couldn't get his emotional state solid.
No, they couldn't. He was so confused.
He went from confusion to anger to crying, and what they say is when you've been knocked out that hard, it's not uncommon to not be able to be stabilized.
It almost would have been better had he been unconscious instead of what happened.
Well, he was unconscious.
Yes, but his body regained consciousness, but his brain didn't.
Right.
Is what it looked like to me. It was hard to watch. Now, listen,
and
at
then
the end
when
of the day,
he was standing, did you see how bad his legs were shaking?
Oh, you're right. And in fact, the whole thing, I mean, to say it was handled poorly is a strong statement, because it's so chaotic. And you never know with athletes like that, you never really know what's going on. Like, it would clearly look to me like he didn't think the fight was over.
He didn't even know what happened.
He didn't. And so and you're right. To remove him from the ring, though, would have been almost impossible. The man is a killing machine. I mean, he's a lethal weapon just in general. And so, I mean, Big John was trying to hold him. There were Dana White went over there. There were several men who were, I mean, he had 6 or 7 men around him, and he got away.
Yeah.
He got away. I mean, he's a strong human being. And he was kept trying to get to John Jones. And so my thinking is that I knew that he wasn't going to, I mean, I really believed that he was not going to keep the title. I knew it was going to be a knockout because the other guy, Johnson, almost knocked him out. And so I felt like that was probably going to be the likelihood. I mean, I know you're not a big fan, but you can't deny that he at least maintained humility and did not like rub it in anyone's face that he got his title back. I mean, he allowed Cormier to do whatever he needed to do. He wasn't like in your face or over celebratory or anything like that.
I thought he was really quite humble and with his speech, which was kind of surprising to me.
I think a lot of it, honestly, Paula, he's the baby brother. His two big brothers were there. I think that they probably beat the shit out of him at some point and said, "Get your mind right, dude."
Yeah, and so
I really do, and they were there.
I found his speech to be. I was surprised, actually. I thought it was far more humble than I would have ever expected.
Yeah,
I was just more saddened that they couldn't get Cormier the medical attention that he needed. And then more than anything at all, I was so pissed that Joe Rogan attempted to interview him. I know he's issued a mass apology.
He did.
But that was in such poor form. I can't even begin to...
Yeah, the thing, and what was funny is that I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, and I listened to the one that aired, I think it was yesterday that was issued, or maybe it was Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it was Monday.
He did a podcast with one of his best friends. His name escapes me right now, but he's an MMA instructor, and he trains with a lot of these UFC athletes. And so they were having a discussion, and he finally brought up the UFC thing. He goes, I issued the apology. I still feel terrible. I know I'm getting a lot of hate, even with the apology. He goes, I'll be honest with you, it was incredibly chaotic that night in the ring after that happened, because it was so shockingly violent. All of it. Even the aftermath, everything was so chaotic. Dana White's in there yelling at Cormier, telling him it was one of his best fights. He had to, he was yelling. He wasn't yelling at him in a bad way. He was actually so worked up and proud of both of the athletes that's because a lot of people thought that Dana was yelling at Cormier in a bad way, but he wasn't. And he goes, and I got in there to obviously, and they still hadn't even declared him the winner yet. And all this was going on. And he's like, and he goes, next thing I know, Cormier is standing next to me. And he did say, he goes, I really make I make it a promise not to interview people who clearly had been knocked out, but how do you feel? And of course, Cormier said like 4 things, and then he wandered off. But he said that he feels so bad. He goes, because I genuinely really like Daniel, and I really, really, I like both of them, and I really wanted to just connect with both of them, essentially. And he completely threw everything out the window, not even thinking. And it was just insane. And right after he did it, he felt horrible. But, we make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah. And as for the rest of the fights, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointed.
My God, they were boring as hell.
Even the Chris Cyborg and the one...
That poor girl.
They basically just threw the belt at her. It was ridiculous.
That's what I thought, too. She looked completely outmatched.
This is the best you've got. And then I'm like, and Chris Cyborg, she's the one that was always calling out Ronda Rousey. And I'm just like, okay, even though Ronda Rousey has been getting her ass kicked lately, I think she would royally beat your ass right now.
I would love to see Ronda Rousey come back and kick her ass.
I'm pretty sure
I'm not kidding. I know Ronda Rousey is a total bitch. That's probably why I secretly like her.
Well, I don't really like her, but I mean...
I would love to see her come in and just...
As far as fight skills, I think that, they're pretty equally matched.
I would like to see that fight. I would pay to fight that. I would pay to see that fight. Anyway, well, speaking of definitely not high level anything, we should do our ugly and awkward moment of the week.
Mine's a retro one.
Yes, vintage.
Back in my working days, before I was a stay-at-home mother. Mm-hmm. I like to call them the good old days. So,
hey, you could go back to that one day. You don't know. It could happen.
It's possible.
Everything's possible.
I remember I was wearing these pants, and I used to work upstairs, and so I was going upstairs, and there was only 2 offices upstairs. One of them was mine and one was another person. So there was really no other person that was going to be like behind me coming up the stairs. And so I was going up the stairs and I felt like kind of drafty or something like that.
Oh, no.
And so then I got to my office and I went to go get into a file cabinet and I squatted down and I heard... And I heard her rip.
No. Oh, no.
I looked down. I ripped the crotch out of my pants.
At work?
At work. And
what did you do? What can you do? Well, I know what I would have done.
It was like lunchtime. And so it's not like I could leave and... Because, I mean, I already had bad attendance at work.
Of course you did.
Because, well, when you have kids, you always have bad attendance.
It's true. It's so true.
So I just sat in my office for the rest of the day.
Did anyone see?
No one saw. And so
you knew, though. You knew.
I did it. So I just sat in my office the rest of the day with my legs crossed. And then, you know, I just didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't go downstairs. I didn't do anything. I mean, thank God I had an office and I didn't sit in like a cubicle or anything like that.
That would have sucked. When you would have turned around, yes.
Yes. Can I help you?
They're like, no.
Listen,
no, you can't.
Read my lips.
Don't make me say this twice.
Right.
No, I was thinking if that ever happened to me, I'd probably try to get like duct tape or something and create a patch. I don't know.
Well, they were like wool pants too. So
God.
It was the strangest thing. And I was mad weird. Because they were kind of new. And
like, I really like these, dang it.
I was mad. And so I remember going home showing Victor what happened. And he was just like, so you sat at work all day like that? And I'm like, what was this? What was this supposed to do?
I don't have, it's not like I'm not like one of those people who has workout clothes in their car.
I think I had to go home and change before I got the kids from daycare because, you know, when you go to the daycare, you're all active and everything.
You're all, hey, hello, everyone, look at my...
And I think I was grateful because I was wearing white underwear, which I know, don't laugh.
I'm not. Were you on your period or something?
No. You're like, I'm not. That's not a laughing matter.
No, that's offensive to me. I find it repellent.
So.
Who wears white underwear anymore? 4-year-olds and Paula at work. So,
and men.
And men who haven't figured out that they need to wear dark colored underwear to not look like pigs. That's all right.
I know. There's a lot of men that wear white underwear, I think.
I know. And they got to get with the program. I don't even know why they make white underwear anymore for anyone over the age of 10. For God's sakes. Save your mother and your wives and your girlfriends and boyfriends from the pain of looking at your skids. Just get green and blue.
You got to be pretty confident wearing white underwear.
I don't care how meticulous a man is. It's just science. I've never seen a clean pair of old underwear in my life. It doesn't have at least one stain on it somewhere.
Just
come on.
Well, even the drip.
Even the dribble.
That's what I was going to say. It's the drip. It's not.
Yeah, it's the yellow stains that look like olive oil on the front of your underwear. Come on. It's all right. You can't help it. Just like I have underwear that no one will see ever when I'm on my period. I mean, come on.
Everybody has those.
I would have to replace my underwear all the time if I didn't have those.
Everybody has the period underwear.
We have the period underwear. You have the white, yellow stained olive oil underwear. Jeez.
It is what it is.
I can't believe you wear white underwear though. But anyway,
I think probably what it was is...
Maybe it was laundry day.
I think I got the pack of the briefs
Hanes.
Or something, and it came with one pair of white underwear.
You're really not improving your image. You buy your underwear in 6-pack? Oh,
well, at the time,
I know. We've all done it.
The last pack or pairs or whatever came from Victoria's Secret, but...
Yeah, because it's buy 5 for $25 usually.
Yeah, but even then, I don't know. The ones I got, they came down so low that they don't even cover my butt.
Oh, did you get like the lowrider bikinis or something?
I didn't even think they were lowriders. They were bikinis, but I mean, I didn't think they were lowriders.
It's like my pubis isn't even covered. What's the point?
It's just like, you pull them on and I like try and pull them up more, but
you're like, is that all there is?
That's about as much fabric as it comes. And so
no wonder they're only $5. There's not much to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love Victoria's Secret, though. I can't help it. I know it's so cliche, but
you wear thongs all the time, so
I do. But I also, you know what I've come to notice, and it's always been this way actually from the beginning. When I used to, because when Fredericks of Hollywood was the only place you could get pretty underwear, because Pennies or Mervyn's or wherever they used to be, they were nothing. So you would have to go to Fredericks and feel like a bad girl if you wanted to get black underwear, or anything. So I used to go to Fredericks. And by the way, I don't know if it's changed because I haven't been to a Fredericks in forever, but I mean, their underwear was really cheap. It was like made of cheap polyester. Yeah. And the lace itched. It was so uncomfortable. You couldn't wear it. And I hated it. And when you would wear thongs, they weren't thongs. They were G-strings with a bunch of lace around a elastic piece of elastic that you would find in a kid's jeans.
Yeah.
They were so uncomfortable. And so I never thought. And then Victoria's Secret became a thing, and I bought their underwear there. And I actually did not start buying their thongs right away. I would buy like their bikinis or whatever. And I love their boy shorts for when I'm on my period because they're just way better. And then I bought like their cotton thongs. They're so comfortable. There's no like elastic on anything, and they don't like, I mean, they do disappear into the ass crack if you have the ass for it. Can you imagine if someone didn't have the ass and all the fabric, you just only saw fabric on their butt?
I don't think that happens.
I bet it does. I bet if you Googled right now flat ass thong, you would find a woman or even a man wearing a thong where you could literally see all the fabric from the top to the bottom. Like no butt envelopment whatsoever.
That's why they use the same model, the thong underwear.
Because she's got the round ass
She's
for
got
it.
the big butt for it.
The one that will actually envelop just enough to make it look sexy and not gross. Yeah,
really.
So anyway, I digress. My awkward moment is a social media awkward moment.
Okay.
So, I play World of Warcraft.
Yes.
And I've been playing with the same people for probably 5 years. I just love the people that I play with. They're all adults. They're over the age of 30. And so we have it's pleasant. And so it's kind of like, it's like an old relationship, you just play with the same people. And so the thing is for years, I always kept my World of Warcraft friends separate from my real life. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I just never even thought about integrating them into anything. I think it was because it was kind of shameful to play online video games, and now it's a little more accepted. And so I'm not as embarrassed about the fact that I play. I love it. Daryl doesn't judge me. If he judges me, it's silently. And so I really enjoy the time and I've made some really good friends actually on World of Warcraft, and a few of the special chosen few I have integrated into my real social media world. I've met a couple, so it's like really neat. So somebody that I've been playing with for a really long time, I really like him. He's just a really solid person. And I asked him a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, do you do social media? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, we should be on social media together so we can like interact beyond these 2 hours a week that we play. And he's like, okay, cool. So we friended each other. His profile picture is of him and a girl. It's nothing weird. It's just him and a girl. And so I immediately go, oh, you're smart, because he works at an Ivy League school. And he goes, yes. And I said, is that your wife? And he said, no. Now, given the relationship we had, I thought he was being sarcastic. So I said, well, she's beautiful. She actually looks like Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, just not green.
Oh.
I mean, she's gorgeous. She looks like the actress that we kind of don't like.
Oh, Zoe Saldana.
She looks like Zoe Saldana. She totally does. And I said, you guys should go to like a Halloween party. She could be Gamora and you can be the Star-Lord. And he goes, oh, that's really funny. And then we just blah, blah, blah talked. And I kept going on and on about it. It was his sister. He finally told me it was his sister. And I felt like an idiot. I was like, oh my God. Like, okay, so you definitely aren't going to be going to a Halloween party as a couple, right?
You're a nerd.
I know. Why can't I just accept the fact that he said, no, it's not my wife? Now, yes, he could have said it was my sister, but because of the relationship that we have, it's kind of funny, jokey. So he kind of just left it, but I had to run with it. And like, it's definitely not his wife.
He's like, yeah, this whole social media thing's going real well.
Like, super glad that I friended you, you weirdo. I'm like, God. I felt like such a schmo.
You want to paint my sister green and go to a Halloween party.
Anything else you'd like to say?
How
Any
about
other input
blue
you have?
so she can be the avatar?
Can I show you my mother? Would you like to make some jokes about that?
Right.
God, I'm an asshole. Like, never mind. Thanks for friending me. It's just the worst. It's just the worst.
How about I glue some bark to my wiener and it could be Groot?
God.
We'll be the whole family.
And then I told someone about it. I said, oh my God, I kept insinuating that he was, together with this person and it's his sister. And he goes, I said they should go to a Halloween party. What the fuck is what is that? It's like, why would I even suggest a Halloween party? I'm like, I said they should go to a Halloween party together, Star-Lord and Gamora. And he goes, well, does he look like Star-Lord? I'm like, no. He goes, well, then why the fuck would you even suggest that? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. So anyway.
You're bizarre.
I know. I'm very aware of myself. You think it's comfortable? No, I hate it. I don't like talking because I always mess it up. At some point, I will make myself a fool.
I know.
Well, just like you said, that's why we don't have many friends. The ones we have just stick around to see what we'll do next.
That's why I get nervous posting things on Facebook. Do you know when I type something on Facebook, I'll read it for 5 minutes before I actually hit the post button?
I self-edit regularly because I know it will not be the way I meant it to be.
I'll be like, is this right? Is this going to offend someone?
I am the same way. I self-edit constantly because I'm like, this is a little too... Well, what's funny is that on Twitter, I'm a little more rogue. Like, I'll say whatever I want. Not filthy or whatever. Right. But on Facebook, I'm self-editing constantly because I just do. Everybody on Facebook is a little more sensitive about certain types of humor.
Right.
And so if it's really inappropriate humor, I'll message it to you or Stephanie.
Yeah.
Like if it's ultra bad. But if it's, marginal, then it's cool. But no, I'm with you. I self-edit constantly because I'm like, I find this hilarious, but no one else is going to find this hilarious. So I should be careful.
Yeah.
And then
especially
they'll
if I'm posting on someone else's page where they're just like, oh, look what so-and-so did. Or look at this, look at that. And I'm just like, that looks stupid, or something like that. And I'm like, wait, I can't say that. That's mean.
Okay, so one time, you see it all the time. People post, if you have a dollar that you think is beautiful and you love her, repost this or whatever. You see that all the time, right?
Yeah.
I hate those things. And one time someone posted it and I responded. I said, well, what if I hate her?
Yeah.
And I got so much crap for that. Oh my God. People were so mad. They're like, that is a really inappropriate thing to say. And I'm like, it's called a joke. Jesus fucking Christ. And then of course I get mad. I'm like, oh, what? You love your daughter and you think she's beautiful every fucking day of her life? No, they're horrible all the time.
Right.
What are you talking about? Only occasionally do I think they're amazing. Honestly, they're the biggest pains in the ass. But and even that did not go over well. So I can't win.
But
all right. Anyway, well, I think, do I win by default because I had a current one?
Yes. Well,
okay, because yours was good.
Anyway. No, yours was good. Yeah. Nobody saw mine.
That's true. Thank God.
Thank
goodness. Yes.
Yeah, really, that would have been bad. So,
yes.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Hopefully, you guys have a good anniversary week and happy anniversary today.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see or hear or, get a picture of whatever present it is that you got.
Yeah, I will definitely send it to you. I've already tried to, I'm already trying to interrogate the children to find out what I'm getting, but they won't. They're not letting me know.
Well, that's good. So happy anniversary to you and to Producer Dub on 20 years. So something to strive for.
Sure.
For the rest of you, thanks for joining us and thanks for shopping Amazon and Avon. We appreciate the patronage and we look forward to you joining us next week where we'll talk about more back to school, actual back to school.
I know. I can't believe it.
Other exciting things that will happen. Probably get a recap of the exciting, hot, romantic weekend from Jamie and Producer Dub. So
I'm sure.
Other than that, we'll talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.
That's a wrap. But make sure to watch your podcast feed for all the screw-ups and edits from this episode and what we call Ugly Cuts. And then we'll have a brand new full episode for you next week. Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Uglee Truth.